Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are diving into the topic of research designs. Whether you are a student delving into the academic research or simply someone interested in understanding the methodologies behind studies, this video is for you. We will explore various types of research designs and provide real-world examples to illustrate each one. So grab your notebooks and let's embark on this enlightening journey together. So, what is research design? Research design is an overall plan or a strategy that a researcher adopts to answer their research questions or test their hypothesis. So it is actually a blueprint of any scientific inquiry, outlining the structure, the methodology, what are the ways they collect the data, how they analyze the data, and the interpreting data to answer specific research questions and or to test the hypothesis. So there are different types of research designs. So let's dive into the types of research designs. So we have three types of research designs. First one is exploratory research design, and the second one is descriptive research design and experimental research design. We are covering one by one with real world examples so you can understand better. So, exploratory research design. What is the purpose of exploratory research design? As the name suggests, it is to explore or to gain a deeper understanding of a topic or to generate ideas or hypotheses or research questions that can be further investigated through more rigorous research methods. Okay, I have provided an example here so you can understand it very easily. So let's imagine a company in the cosmetic industry. Okay, so they have noticed a decline in the sales of some particular products. Okay, so they wanted to explore why the trend is happening, why the particular decline is happening to their products. So they wanted to find the reasons behind the decline in the sales of the products. So the marketing team want to understand the changing preferences and behaviors of the consumers in this cosmetic industry. So to understand this is a new knowledge for them. Obviously they don't know what are the reasons behind this trend, so they wanted to generate the or they wanted to understand why this is happening. So they are exploring something new or something that they don't know. So in this case they will be doing an exploratory research design. So I think it is clear for you. If you have any doubt, please ask it in the comment section. Now the next one is descriptive research design. As the name suggests, in the descriptive, we are describing or analyze the characteristics or behaviors or patterns of a particular group of people or a population. Okay, so here to describe and analyze the characteristics, to understand this concept, I'll give you an example. Suppose a team of researchers wants to conduct a study to describe the eating habits of college students. Okay, say what they do, they do a survey, they provide some questionnaires to the college students and analyze the eating habits of the college students. So to collect data on various aspects of college students eating habits, so the researchers design a survey questionnaire to collect data on various aspects of college students eating habits, such as type of food consumed, frequency of meals, dining preferences, and sources of food, whether it is home cooked meals or fast food or campus dining halls. So in this case, the researchers are trying to understand the eating habits, why or they wanted to analyze the characteristics of a particular group of students or particular group of people or the behaviors of this population. So they use a random sampling method. They collect the data by going to any college or they randomly collect some samples. So in this example, the descriptive research design allows the researchers to systematically describe and document the eating habits of the college students using the survey data. So coming to the next one, which is the experimental research design. Obviously, as the name suggests, it is the experimental research. So uh, we know that there are two types of variables. One is dependent variable and the independent variable. Okay, so in this experimental research, the researchers are trying to determine whether the change in one variable causes the change in another one, what or how the one variable or how the change in one variable affect the another variable. So this is the researchers aims to establish the cause and effect relationship between the two variables. Okay, so we have two types of research, experimental research designs, which is classified based on where the study takes place. The first one is laboratory. If the research is conducting in a laboratory setting, then it is called the laboratory research design. And if the research is conducting in a natural field setting, it is called the natural field research design. So the lab experiment, in a lab experiment, the study is conducted in a controlled environment, typically a laboratory setting. In this case, researchers have high control. So coming to the next one, which is a field experiment. It is a type of experimental research design conducted in a naturalistic setting outside of a controlled laboratory environment. So in this case, the researchers don't have the full control of the environment, so or the variables. Unlike lab experiment, which takes place in the artificial or controlled conditions, field experiment aim to observe and manipulate variables in real world settings to study behavior, attitudes or outcomes. So for this, I have provided an example for this experimental research design. Let's imagine, okay, let's imagine a group of tomato plants. We have the researchers wanted to investigate whether a new type of fertilizer affect the growth of tomato plants or not. Okay, this is a research problem. So this is a new type of fertilizer, so they wanted to test how much it affects the growth of the tomato plants. So what an experimental research first to do is they randomly assign the tomato plants into two groups. Random assignment is the first step. Randomly taking some tomatoes and tomato and dividing the group of tomatoes into two groups. Okay, it is a random assignment is happening here. Okay, so the one group we call experimental group and the other one is a control group. Experimental group is a group where we are experimenting the research, which means we are providing the fertilizer to the experimental group. And what about the control group? We are not providing this fertilizer to the control group. Okay, so we wanted to test how much the fertilizer affects to the experimental group. So after dividing the group into two, which is experimental and control, the most important thing to consider is the growing conditions of the two groups. The researchers should ensure that both groups of tomato plants receive identical growing conditions in terms of sunlight, water, temperature and soil quality, because it helps minimize the influence of external factors on plant growth. Okay, so this is what is happening. Then after providing the growing conditions, everything equal, identical growing conditions, and the observation period starts. They track all the parameters such as plant height, the number of leaves, the fruit yields, the growth of the plant, everything. Okay, so they compare the growth, what happened to the control group and to the experimental group. So they analyze whether there are any significant differences in growth parameters between the two groups. Okay, after that they will be doing a statistical analysis using the ANOVA, or there are different methods to analyze the data. Okay, so in the basis of the analysis, the researchers can draw conclusions about whether the new fertilizers significantly affect the growth of tomato plants. If the experimental group shows significantly better growth compared to the control group, they may conclude that the new fertilizer is effective in prompting the promoting the plant growth. So I have provided a representation to understand this experimental research design. So we have subjects here. This is the whole tomato plants, and we have divided the tomato plants into two, which is a group 1 and group 2. So the first treatment, we have given a name for the experimental group, and we have provided the fertilizer to the group 1 or the experimental group, and to the second, which is control group, which is treatment 2, and we haven't provided any fertilizer to this group. So after the comparative analysis, we could compare how much new fertilizer is effective in promoting the plant growth. So this is all about today's class. Thanks for joining me on this journey, and until next time, stay curious. If you have any doubts, do comment on the comment box. Thank you so much for watching this video.